Hello guys and welcome to the channel. This is day one of Simulation Week and we'll jump straight in with Bus Simulator. Okay, so we're going to jump straight in with Bus Simulator. This is based on the game Bus Simulator 18, which I believe is available on the PC. And at the time of recording this on the UK PlayStation Store, you can pick this up for $34.99. It's not currently on sale, I'm afraid. We're going to jump right in with a company I've already created called Manx Bus Companies, based on the location where I'm living at the moment in the Isle of Man. This may be available on the Microsoft Store, or it might be known as Bus Simulator 18. I'm not entirely sure. And then obviously you can pick up Bus Simulator 18 on Steam. So we're going to load up a game. Okay, so when you first load up the game, you're brought to this route management screen. This is regardless of whether you are starting a new game or whether you are loading a game with a company you've already created like I am. If you have previously completed a set of challenges, it will then carry on from where you've left off. So this instance, it's carrying on from a set of challenges I've just completed, and it's now telling me that we want to expand the company further. On this screen, you can plan out routes, you can edit existing routes, so you can add more stops, take away stops, you can employ drivers, you can buy buses, and there's even a multiplayer option. So we're going to go into Bus Garage now, have a look at the existing buses, but we've been asked to buy a new bus to proceed any further. So we're just having a look through there. All of these are still locked, I'm afraid. So in order to make room and to get more money, I'm going to sell one of my buses, and then I'm going to go back and buy a brand new bus. I'm going to go for a different one, I think, the S416LE rather than the Mercedes. I'm going to do it up in my company's colours, so we're going to go with the red and then follow that with the black, and then there's a skin there as well which we're going to add on, which has a bit of green in it. And then that's it. That's the bus done. Okay, so we've got our new bus. We're obviously going to want to drive it. So let's choose a route, choose the bus, and then let's go for a drive. Okay, so you join me here on the new bus. This is the S416E, and one of the things to notice is this is considerably larger in size than the Mercedes. This one has 49 seats and the smaller Mercedes only has 28. So we're going to go and drive this route. So we're going to pull up to the bus stop here, pick up some passengers. Now there are quick buttons here to make things a lot easier. Square will open the doors, pressing down on the D-pad will put the parking brake on. Ticket machine is surprisingly easy to use. The only thing I would say is a bit temperamental at times is giving change out, because the buttons don't always respond. One of the things to note is that you can have two different driver modes. You can have it as realistic, or you can have it as simplified. If you have it as realistic though, you have to manually select drive and the gears and things like that, whereas simplified you can just press and go. Indicators can be used with your L1 and R1 triggers. I'm not sure what it would be on the other consoles, but I would imagine it'll be a similar setup. The only thing I would say that I found that really annoys me, when you rotate your head like you can see that I'm doing here, it doesn't automatically center back. So if you have looked around the cabin, you have to manually center the view yourself. That's the only thing I found that's quite annoying. You notice that the wing mirrors as well can be a little laggy, is probably the right word I would say for it. But other than that, it's not a bad game. I found that you can easily, if you're into your simulation games, you can easily kind of get lost in this without realising it. I did hit a pedestrian in this, as you will see later on. I shouldn't laugh, but that cost me 20 grand, which you'd think it cost a little bit more. Passengers tend to listen to really loud music, just like we're seeing here. And at that point, you have to go and find that passenger, usually wearing headphones like this one, and ask them to stop. So it's pretty much what you would get on a real bus, or what you should do. The quick menu comes in really handy. You can limit the speed on your bus, so it will automatically stick within the speed limit, and that makes it obviously a lot easier for you to abide by the road laws. Switching on lights is part of the quick menu. You can do side lights, far lights, full beam. I think you can even do indicators, to be honest with you. So yeah, all in all, it's not a bad drive. I found that when seniors get on the bus, they will ask for a ticket or 2 tickets, and they will end up needing a ridiculous amount of change. I think the most I've had so far, about 23 quid, or 23 euros, or whatever the currency is on this game. And when the highest coin that you've got is 2, it can really take the mick a little bit. In fact, here's a senior now. Let's see how much. 12 euros. It's not the worst. Could have paid with a smaller note, if I'm being honest with you. But yeah. So the ticket machine is divided up between single, day and week, and within each of those categories you have regular, student and senior, and then on the screen after that you can change the quantity of tickets to make it easier to issue them. I've noticed that not all people that get on the bus come for a ticket. So if you wanted to check the validity of their journey, you could always go and ask them. As you saw when we went to ask the woman to turn down her music, it also gave us the option to ask to see their ticket. So you can do that. So this passenger is requesting a week. 2 of them. I actually paid worse than the senior, to be honest with you. We'll give them their tickets, and then we'll get on the way. So once you get the hang of the quick buttons, the whole thing becomes second nature. I've noticed if you indicate out of the bus stop as well, the traffic will stop for you, much unlike real life, if I'm being honest with you. And for every time you use your signals properly, you'll get green stars that will appear in the bottom right corner. One thing I have noticed, which you can see here, because this bus is longer, you have to take corners a lot wider, and the passengers will pick up on your bad driving, so you should probably do your best to try and drive well. Passengers, while they're on the bus, you'll hear random bits of conversation, and not all of it will make sense. In fact, probably a good 90% of it will make absolutely no sense at all. And as well as that, they will comment on your driving, as I say. You can see a little green star has appeared at the bottom right corner there, saying that I've used my indicator correctly. So, and on the bottom left there, you can see the mini-map and the H's. Not really sure what the H stands for, but either way, that will indicate your next stop on the mini-map. You've got a time limit to get to each stop, which will carry on until you leave the stop that you need to stop at. Occasionally you'll get wheelchair passengers as well, and in the quick menu there is an option to lower the ramp. I found that on one drive, I did 2 drives where there was wheelchair passengers, both were in the Mercedes. On one drive it would just let me lower the ramp while the doors were open. On the second drive it asked me to close the doors before lowering the ramp, which was a bit weird considering it was the same bus, but I went with it anyway, and it didn't seem to be a problem. Now, one thing I will say with this game is that it can be a bit buggy at times. It just seems to lack in smoothness a little bit in terms of frame rates. You can balance it. You can have either more focused on performance or more focused on quality, and if I'm being honest, it doesn't seem to make a difference whichever one you pick. So okay, so we're coming towards the end of the journey now. I believe actually this is the final stop. So all the passengers are going to get off the bus. You'll just see them there getting off. Now, 9 times out of 10, it'll come up with a message like it has done here, saying that someone has dropped garbage and you need to go and pick it up because everyone is a scruffy. So, yeah. It's usually just one coffee cup, or that's what I found. There could be more later down the line for all we know. It's pretty early days on this. And then you can either drive the bus back to the depot or you can select end drive from the quick menu, and it will give you your stats there and your income as well. Any penalties that you've got, whether it be collisions, hitting pedestrians like I did, killing people, whatever, will come up on that far right section of the stats. So now we're going to have a look at hiring drivers. Now I've got 2 hired already. I'm going to hire a third, but I'm actually also going to fire one. So it'll give you their backgrounds as well and their expected salary. I'm going to pick Barbara because she sounds like the most normal out of the bad bunch, and I'm going to fire someone as well. So now we're going to assign Barbara to a route. So we are going to go right to assign driver, choose the bus that we want to assign them to. So we're going to pick the new one, and then we're going to choose the driver. In this case, it's Barbara, and that's it. That's the driver assigned. Now we can drive any of these routes at any time. Instead of the driver, all we have to do is select it and start drive by pressing X, and that's pretty much all there is to it. It's just a case of working through the routes, and the more you work through the game as well, the more you will expand. There is a multiplayer option, as I mentioned at the start, and this will enable friends to drive for your company or you to drive for them likewise. You can obviously expand your little bus empire and assign a friend to a bus and a route. But other than that, there's not much more to it. It's just a case of driving, expanding the routes, and the basic goal of the game is to try and bring public transport back to these areas where there is no public transport at the moment. And as you drive, you earn more money, you can buy more buses, you can unlock more buses. There's even bendy buses as well as part of it. You can see there that the objective that I'm currently on is to transport 180 passengers. So I'm going to just finish that off by taking the Mercedes out. One of the bus stops, it'll come up with little scenarios like that one of the bus stops is taking is having maintenance done, so it'll just change your route slightly, but your route will always show up on the mini map, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Many of the pedestrians look the same. I mean, we're getting triplets getting on at the moment, it seems. But yeah, so if you want to pick this up, as I say, it's currently in the store at the time of recording this for $34.99, and you can also pick it up on disc from various places like Amazon, Game, things like that. If you're in the UK, I don't know what other places have, but if you want something fairly light-hearted and doesn't require much effort, then it's probably the game for you. Thanks for watching.